Good morning, everyone. I'm Patty, and you're listening to Live Your Ideal Life. Today, I want to introduce you to a whole new model for living. A model that says, be, do, and have. Most people work backwards. Most people work from have, do, and be. And that's if I have something, then I can do something. And if I can do something, then I could be something. So today, we're going to talk about being first, working in a way that is going to feel completely backwards to you. We can be who we want to be, then do what we want to do, which then it's going to generate the things that we want to have. Most of us have been taught by very well-intentioned people. We've been taught a backwards model of living. We've been taught that we need to have certain things before we can do what it is that we really want to do. Then we can be who we want to be. For example, let's say that you want to be happy with your relationships. Let's say that you want to have the love of your life, that you have a deep desire to have that soulmate and have them by your side. Most people believe that in order to be happy in your current relationships, that you have to have this love relationship. Then you can be loving. Then you can be happy. Then you can be satisfied with your life. What if that were backwards? What if, in fact, that the way you create this love relationship was that you be loving now? I know you're thinking, well, that's a no-brainer, because we consciously understand this. But the application of this principle into our daily activity, because what happens is we get sidetracked by our current conditions. And our current conditions tell us that you don't have your love relationship right now. So how could you be happy if you don't have your love relationship right now? How can you be fulfilled? And it will tell you how lonely you are, and that you have this ache inside of you, and that you want this love relationship. And you can fill in the blank with anything that you want to have. It may not have anything to do with a relationship. You can fill it in with you want financial abundance, that you want to be more fulfilled with your work, that you want to have more health and vitality in your body. I want to encourage you just for a week to try an experiment. But we'll get to that at the end of the show today. The truth is, most people work backwards. Most people work from if I have, then I'll do, and then I can be. And that's if I have something, then I can do something. And if I can do something, then I could be something. Think of this, for example. If I had time and money to join the gym, or to hire a trainer, or to cook healthy meals for myself. In other words, if I had the money, then I could do these things. And if I could do these things, then I would be fit and healthy. Well, that's backwards. It's kind of like, standing in front of the fireplace, and if I get warm enough, I'll add some wood. Well, it's backwards. And most of us fall into this backwards way of thinking in some area of our life. It may not be around money. Maybe it's in our personal life. The have, do, be way of thinking is the way most people go through their life. And I used to be like that myself. I want you to take a look at your life and really be honest with yourself. If you're working from I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough friends, I don't have enough happiness. If this is the direction you're working from, then nothing's going to change, because this direction is backwards. If you want to have those things in your life, if you want to up-level your thinking to be, do, have this way of thinking, and that means, who do I have to be to do the things I choose to do, or need to do, or want to do to have the outcome that I want? So let's talk about one of those things that nobody likes to talk about, but it affects all of us. Let's talk about money. And the reason I'm talking about money is because 78% of Americans are working paycheck to paycheck. And even the people who earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, some of them are still struggling. Money is such a huge issue for, I would say at least 90% of the population. So many people struggle with money. But here's where people work backwards. People will say things like, if I had the money so that I could hire someone to do those things, then I would be successful, then I could be happy, and I could be somebody who's wealthy. That just doesn't work. It's like watching TV and trying to change the channel by getting up and trying to rearrange the picture on the screen. It doesn't work. What does work is be, do, have. Who do I have to be? In other words, what ways do I need to be? Some ways that are universally challenging for a lot of people are to be courageous. A lot of times we want to work from have, do, be because we're not courageous. So a powerful way to be is to be courageous. In fact, pretty much anything that you want in life is on the other side of fear. You don't always get out of life what you want, but you always, always, always get out of life what you're being. So let's stop focusing on what we want and change this focus to who you're being. And more specifically, how do you see yourself? Because we're trying to change things from a stuck identity, which means even wanting to be someone different so that you can do different things and have different things is only as effective as the current identity that you currently have. Fear's hardwired into you. So it takes courage to get through fear. So how do we switch over to be, do, have? Maybe you're familiar with the concept, fake it till you make it. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Think about who you have to be to do what you have to do to have what you want. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, who is the being? Who is the being working through the be, do, have transformation? Whatever you do, your doing is only as effective as the being that's doing the doing. So who is the being doing the doing? This is a blind spot for a lot of people. Okay, for an example, right now, I want you to think about some amazing things that are currently out of your reach. But I want you to think about these amazing things. Let me give you an example. Let's say you live in a small apartment. I want you to think about your dream home. Maybe it's a beach home, or maybe it's in the mountains. It doesn't matter. Let's say you're driving a car that's 8 years old, a little beater, just gets you around, that kind of a car. I want you to consider for a moment that you're buying a brand new Tesla, let's say. Now what happens is a part of you, it's like, yeah, it would really be nice to have that. And then another part of you is like, are you kidding me? There's no way you can have that. You know, like that was a nice dream, whatever. You're not going to have that. Not you. Well, what I want to point out is, even though you might want to say things like, well, who would I have to be to have that house? Notice what happens automatically. It's that programming kicks in. Just like when we talked about money a little while ago, that programming, it kicks in. And actually what happens here is you're working from the old identity, trying to create a new identity. And when we work from an old identity, we're working from the past. And when we work from the past, we repeat our past. It's challenging for us to get our minds around a lot of these things. But my mentor taught me that you cannot create from your past. So think about that. Consider that idea. You cannot create from your past. You can only create from now. But we try to create from our past, and our past is our old identity. Many people fail at this be, do, have principle of living, and the reason is they have an old identity that they stay in the habit of, which is thought-based, and they're literally working from their subconscious part of their being, our feeling part of the mind. And we don't get what we want, we get how we feel about what we want. That's why we can say we want what we want, whatever it is for you, and we don't do what it takes. And we don't do it because of our old habits are coming from our old identity that's programmed into our subconscious mind, and everything is identity. Everything is identity. You don't get in life what you want, you get how you feel about what you want, and those feelings are created from your identity. So hopefully that sinks in, that it makes sense to you. Hopefully you'll start to get it. And I say this with compassion because I've been there myself and in my own life. And we tend to have to hear things many times in many different ways for us to finally have it click and say, yes, I got it. So we're talking about being first, then doing and having. It's all about the being, the identity, and the up-leveling of the identity. I want to give you a reason to live life, not just to get by, but to live life with passion and joy and abundance. And it's done through principles. And the number one principle is, what's your goal? What is your intention? Have you been inspired with an idea that you believe will either help you or your family or your community? If you haven't got a goal or an idea, then take the opportunity right now to create one. If you haven't been inspired to think exactly what that intent or idea is, then write down something that you would benefit from, that you'd benefit from personally if you were to start doing it right now. Or write down something that you would benefit from personally if you were to stop doing it right now. If you've taken the time to do this, then congratulations. That's the first step in creation, and the process has started for you with a clear goal, and there's logic behind this. Albert Einstein, he was one of the first ones to teach us that all living matter is made of atoms, right? And at the core of atoms, we learn that everything is made up of energy. Theologians say everything's made of God, or everything comes from God. Scientists call it energy. Theologians call it God. So if everything's made up of atoms, if everything at its core is energy, how do we get different things? Like, what makes the difference between my table and my shirt, a dog or a tree? Well, it's variations in frequencies of that same energy. And Thomas Edison taught us that our brain, yes, even yours, it has the ability to transmit a frequency, just like the things that all matter is made up of. And it's also able to receive at the same frequency. So our brain is a transmitting station. We've got the ability, through our thought patterns, to be able to think up the future we want. Not just a glimpse of the future, but really vividly imagine it. And by means that everything is made of that same energy, all of the awareness, all of the circumstances, people, and events are coming into our awareness to pick up on, to become available to us. It gives us ideas and supports having our ideas come into our reality. And then the second principle, our feelings. Our feelings that we would have in the future if we got our goal. Maybe you're thinking about the time that you spend with your children when you've achieved this goal and how you would add to their lives. How about you when you think about your goal? Can you feel the joy of actually seeing that goal come into your life? Can you feel the feelings of the people who would benefit from your goal? Can you see the smiles on the faces? Can you see what's possible for those who benefit from the huge value that you're giving to them? Principle number 3, walking into the goal that you want to achieve. Success is like the magnet. Successful activities, through flow and effect, create momentum. And the momentum is to help us to create the goals and create the future that you're looking for. The key is that we need to take an immediate step. It needs to be small, but right away. Right now, with what you have, if you've got your goal. Take immediate action, something that you can do right now. It could be Googling something, texting someone, or just reaching out to someone and saying, I'm doing this. If it's an email that you need to send someone, then that's exactly what you need to do right now. Because that immediate next step is going to give you a momentum. And that momentum is going to attract to you the future that you want by making actions in the direction of your goal. And principle number 4, everything starts with a thought. Everything is created twice, once in our imagination and then in our reality. It's our minds that can help us create anything that we want to create. We just need to put the power of the momentum behind those ideas with actions that will get us there. So now as you take the actions that are going to get you to your goal, imagine how happy you would be. Imagine how happy you would be to finally feel the joy of having achieved your goal. You have the goal that you went for and you sought for so long, and how grateful you would feel. Think about the things that you're grateful for right now. Things that you brought forth or things that have happened to you. Think about the people who were there, the friends and family, those things that you can be grateful for, those things that give you that sense of abundance. Think about the experiences that you've been able to experience in your life, those things where everyone was laughing. There's so many beautiful things in life. Think about how your heart beats without you even having to think about it. How you digest your food and never think about it. How the sun comes up every day. How spring follows winter. This sense of gratitude. This sense of gratitude can give us the abundance we're looking for immediately. And in fact, any subsequent success that we receive as a result of the processes we've talked about means that it will feel even better for us because it's a bonus on top of how we already feel. Remember, there are 4 principles or 4 steps. First, we've got to know what you want and why you want it. Then you can feel the feelings now of what it would be like in the future to experience your goals. That will turn on the attractive force that comes from our thoughts to be able to find things in our range of what we want that are trying to move towards us. We start with small but immediate actions. The key is we get to start now. And then feel a gratitude for what you do already have. It gives you an amazing sense of abundance. It's kind of like being in a war with mediocrity and the belief system that we have that says we're not enough, that we can't handle it, we can't do it. So think about what your limitations may be and allow yourself to feel that feeling inside of yourself, that feeling of anything's possible, because it is. There's no limitations. There's no limitations within you. Now feel that feeling inside. So let's get into that state now, that state of mind that gets you into that momentum. Okay, so I talked about wanting you to try and experiment for a week. That experiment is, I want you to be the man or woman who has that thing already, that thing that you want. Think about it in your mind's eye. Who is the person in a loving relationship? Who's the person fulfilled in their work? Who's the person with health and vibrancy? Who's the person with an abundant life? What qualities does that person exude? Think about the way that they literally move through their day, how they carry themselves. And I want you to make a decision, and it literally is a conscious decision, to put on these qualities right now, to be that person with those qualities in you right now. Be happy now, be fulfilled now, be healthy regardless of the condition of your body. What's the most vibrant health that you can exude right today? Choose that beingness today. As you choose to move through the world from that state of awareness of that person, notice and watch how ideas and support and new possibilities, how they're going to start coming at you. And I want you to start tracking them. Choose to act the way that that person who has what it is that you want to have, how do they act? How do they interact with other people? How do they drive their car? How do they go to the grocery store? Think about the ways that they act in the world and the things that you can do today with what you have where you are as the person who already has what you desire, what that outcome is that you desire, and then watch literally how you create this field of electricity around you and the resources, the support, and the results will start coming to you in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. And what's really great is that you already feel good now because you're starting out being that person to begin with. The having just becomes the icing on the cake. I want you to face life with the certainty and courage that nothing can stop you. Why would you want to do this? Well, for every one of you who lives the life of abundance, who lives the life that is possible for you, when you do it for yourself, you are subconsciously giving permission to the people around you to do the same thing. And that is not just success, it's so much more than success. I'm Patty. Thanks for listening. Share with me your experiences with this, with being, doing, having, and comment on it. Thanks again for being here. I'm really grateful for your support and would love to have you subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. Till next time, bye.